baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. I do appreciate it. While you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck and, of course, with the Atlanta Braves. Also, you can follow me on social media. The tags are there, and, of course, they're in the link in the description below. But, yeah, a lot to talk about today. Obviously, a very exciting series that we just finished off with the Phillies. Fun one. I was at Game 3 the other night, and obviously or the other day, I should say, you can see from my face. I've been out in the sun a good bit. But you know what? I enjoyed every minute of it. It was a great series. Obviously, a lot of homers were hit in that last game, but it was a good series win for the Braves. And I really think that we're finally starting to see what the Braves can be this year. The first first month or so has been, or maybe month and some change, I would say, has been a little rough, up and down. We all know that. We're all very aware of that. But it was a good win yesterday. Good to see Marcell Ozuna have 2 homers and heat up. Good to see him and Riley go back-to-back. Obviously very exciting offensively. It's seeming to be a little bit more consistent these days, which is a good thing to see, obviously, as we're competing in the division with the Mets, of course. Right now we're in second place, 8.5 games back. I know a lot of people want to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the Braves can jump up in the standings, if they can inevitably take first place. But before we do that, we have some big news right up top, and you already know this more than likely. That is that Spencer Strider will be taking the mound for the Atlanta Braves tonight in a starting role, and that is obviously a great thing to see for long-time minor league Braves fans that follow it from the draft on. Frankly, fans like me who have been following, those picks from, Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder, Jared Schuster, Michael Harris, who just debuted. Those guys, it's fun to see, and I'm glad we're finally here. So for me, I think we really got to focus on that. I think we really got to talk about that. I've talked about Spencer Strider extensively on the channel. I've told you that I'd be a little bit concerned if he took the starting role. I've told you that I'm confident in what he can do. I just worry what he can do the third time through the lineup. I've told you that 2 or 3 times. That being said, we're going to find out tonight. It's not the stamina. I don't think we have to worry about that. But it will be interesting to see just how he goes about the third time through the lineup. That being said, what I'm going to do for you is I went and found and clipped some of the Leo Mazzone interview. I'm sure most of you probably watched it. It was a great interview. Hopefully you did. If you didn't, I suggest you go check it out. It's an hour long. It's a great watch. He tells a lot of great stories, but he also gives a lot of key information on young pitchers like Kyle Wright, like Spencer Strider. So here, right now, we're going to hear just what Leo Mazzone says about how Spencer Strider can do in the starting rotation. But with a guy like that who has 2 pitches, maybe 3, how successful can they be as a starter?
If you got 2 going, you're going to win. If you got 3 going, you're going to throw a shutout. And if you get narrowed down to 1, you're going to lose. So therefore, he could be. Okay. Absolutely. You're talking about Hall of Fame pitchers that go into the Hall of Fame with 3 pitches. And if you're talking about a guy that can pitch multiple innings and has more than 1 pitch, and if you got, we used to have that saying: if you got 2 going, you're going to win. If you got 3 going, you're going to throw a shutout. And if you're narrowed down to 1, you're going to lose.
Some great advice, some great points by a great pitching coach from back in the day, Leo Mazzone. Again, if you haven't seen that interview, I really suggest you go watch it. For Braves fans, it's a great watch. For any baseball guy, it's a great watch. But Leo, talking to Leo, a lot of his philosophy is less is more, right? Spencer Strider is a guy that I think that can be said. I mean, he's a guy that, throws a great fastball, has some off speed, but he really dominates using that fastball. We all know about that. But I think ultimately it's going to be a great game tonight. I think it's going to be fun to watch, especially seeing a young star like that, take the mound in the starting rotation for the first time. Not to mention he's been, excellent in every relief appearance he's had this year, just about. He's been a lot of fun to watch all year, so it will be fun to see him. I do wonder what it's going to be like, though, and I think a lot of us Braves fans are. Now, that being said, you're probably wondering, what are some of the keys to the game tonight? What should we look for? Leo Mazzoni's back with that answer.
They say, oh, you ever hear that you go on these shows? He goes, oh, what's the key to the game tonight? Well, there's only one key. You know what that is? You're only as good as tonight's starting pitcher. You're only, and you could, so there is no other keys. You can talk all that stuff you want. Well, this guy's this, he hits this against this guy, and that's nice to find out, and the fans need to know that information. But when it comes right down to it, you're only as good as tonight's starting pitcher. Now, that's what it used to be. Now, depending on how long you plan on using your starting pitcher, because I personally believe that you got about 20 good starting pitchers in the entire big leagues. And the rest of those starters are long relievers.
I just absolutely love that quote. I had to include it. Now, that being said, Spencer Strider takes the mound tonight. Again, the offense is looking good. Things to look out for. Michael Harris, again, taking the field today. I believe only like his third or fourth game in the major league, so that'll be fun to watch. Acuna should be back in the lineup for good now, hopefully, pending what happens in the next few games. Hopefully he's good to go from now on. Some things to look forward to later on. You got some injuries, some guys coming back from injuries. Being around the stadium yesterday, I heard, the hope is that Mike Soroka's back, around the All-Star break, maybe even before it. I think we already knew that, but that's something to keep an eye out for. And if he can be added into the starting rotation, whether or not he's ace Mike Soroka or not, it's definitely an interesting point. Now, I want to pivot a little bit. I want to talk about what's upcoming for the Atlanta Braves. I want to talk about what's coming up next. Let's take a look at the upcoming series, the upcoming schedule for the Atlanta Braves. You're looking at it. Next, they got the Diamondbacks, then the Rockies, then the Athletics, the Pirates, the Nationals, and the Cubs. Now, they take on the Diamondbacks starting tonight. Every team in this list, every team until June 21st, just about. Yeah, June 21st. They all have losing records. Okay, they are very winnable series. We should win most of these, if not all. And this is, to me, this is where you see, if we're going to jump some games, I mentioned earlier, we're 8.5 games back on the Mets right now. If we're going to jump a few and get to 4.5 games back, this is where I think we got to do it. Because, you look at these series, I just don't see it. And then you compare it to what the Mets are doing these next few weeks. Look at this. They got the Nationals for the last game today. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, the Brewers, and the Marlins. Now, I got to be honest with you. I really think this favors the Braves. Because forget the Nationals. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, and the Brewers, they're no easy task to get by. And to be honest with you, I think the Marlins are a little bit more challenging than a lot of people like to give them credit for. So, to me, this is where I think you see a major jump for the Braves, if there is one. I think it's got to be over these next couple of weeks if it's going to be in the first half. And, you look back at the Braves, I just don't know how there's not going to be a jump here, and I really hope that's the case. I think we're starting to get our bearings anyway, and bringing up some exciting players like Michael Harris and now Spencer Strider to the starting rotation, I think could add a little bit of flair to the team as well. So, again, also Ronald Acuna. So that being said, I really hope over the next few weeks that's what we see, hopefully starting tonight against the Diamondbacks. So I think ultimately that will be the case. I think that's what we're going to see, and that'll be what we get. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to get to you guys' comments in just a second. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Let's go ahead and jump right into Yosemite. Says it's Strider season. I certainly hope so, Yosemite. Bill Gates, do you think Dansby will price his way out of Atlanta if he keeps hitting like this? Here's the thing, right? Dansby's a very streaky hitter, and a lot of people Bill, wanted Dansby gone a couple of weeks ago because he was doing so bad. This is how Dansby is. He's a very streaky hitter. He's hot and cold. We're hitting him in a hot spell right now, and that's great. I got a feeling at some point it can't last, right? Now, if it does, he very well could price his way out of Atlanta, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think hopefully, we've done a lot of talking ever since Freddie went to the Dodgers. We've done a lot of talking about whether or not the Braves are going to bring back Dansby Swanson. There's been a lot of chatter about that, rightfully so. I mean, this is a guy that we've had the majority of his career, almost all of it, and he's a guy that is hitting free agency as the same agent as Freddie Freeman. So there's a lot of conversations about it, and there should be. I don't know if Dansby's going to come back or not. I'd like to see him re-signed before the end of the year, really before the All-Star break. But hopefully we get something, hopefully we get him back. Hopefully, he does just good enough to where we don't have to pay him a fortune. But yeah, I would assume Dansby's coming back. Now, that being said, I assumed Freddie was coming back. So no one's safe at this point. But to me, I think Dansby, he's doing great right now. If you got him on your fantasy team, if you got him benched right now, you need to bring him up. But right now, I don't know how long it's going to last. That's what I would say. Yosemite, Elder has 5 pitches and he couldn't keep it together. I think Spencer can overpower batters. The thing about that is big league hitters can time it up. No matter if it's 102, 98. If they know it's coming, they can time it up. Now, that being said, I think Spencer's got some electric stuff. I just don't know how long it's going to last into the game. I see you said that you think he can give you 4 to 5 innings. We've seen him give 4 in relief. 5 is a taller task. I don't think it's unachievable, but it is a taller task. And I'll be intrigued to see if he can do it or not. I think that's kind of the question going into tonight. And that's the reason we have these games, is to find out what these guys can do. Who's going to win the game, right? We don't know, going in. That's what's fun about watching it. So I think it'll be a good watch. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch Spencer tonight. Obviously, he's got a lot of hype around him, and he should, because he's had a great year so far. But the other question, the flip side of the coin, is he's kind of filling the Tyler Matzik role in the pen right now. So with that, you kind of question where the bullpen goes with that, because with all the injuries they have, you're going to remove Spencer from there and put him as a starter. That could ruffle some feathers. What would be crazy, and I'm just throwing this out there, I don't think it's going to happen. What would be nuts is if they brought him out just to open, just to pitch 1 inning and then go to long relief. That would be kind of crazy. I would hope that we get at least 4 and some change. That's what I'd like to see. It'd be great if we got 6, don't get me wrong. But, if it doesn't happen, don't fret. Spencer's career is not, relying on this one game. I think we're going to see a lot. We've seen development out of Spencer Strider. I think we're going to continue to see that. We may even see a new side of him as the game progresses into the later innings, if he gets that far. It'll be interesting. If there's a team that you want your first start to go against, it's probably, either the Pirates, the Reds, or the Diamondbacks. So, this is, I think it favors the Braves. I think it favors Spencer Strider, at least early on. And we'll see what he's made of. And I think it'll be a lot of fun here, for sure. Ronnie says, is Leo's man cave as cool as yours? I would probably say it's cooler. He's definitely got some stuff of more value, for sure. But some one-of-a-kind stuff, I would say. Can't really speak on all of that, but he does got some pretty cool stuff. And it was fun to look at, fun to watch, and fun to see, for sure. Fun to talk about as well. Blake, people forget when Soroka was the ace that Ian and Max weren't elite yet, and we didn't have Charlie Morton. He doesn't need to be as good. I agree with you. However, with all of the hype that's around Spencer Strider, naturally people are going to jump to the conclusion that he's going to be fantastic. I think he is fantastic, to tell you the truth. I just don't know if he's going to get into the 5th and 6th innings, which lead to questions of how far the bullpen can go because of how limited they are right now, with Luke Jackson gone, Kirby Yates gone, Tyler Matzik out for the time being. So I think that's where people are at. But yeah, Ian and Max weren't elite. I don't know that Ian is elite as of right now. He's good, but I don't know if he's Max Fried for sure. I don't think so. When Soroka was the ace, Max wasn't there yet. The development hadn't got there yet. Max sort of took it up when he needed to. He took up the mantle of the ace when Soroka went down. And we've never really seen that pairing together at full form. So it would be interesting to see when Soroka comes back, if they can if he can get back to full health, I'd be interested to see what kind of damage the rotation can do in that capacity. Now, that being said, if Spencer can get right, if Spencer can go 5-6 innings every fifth day, we're talking serious problems for the other team. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Strider tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Soroka come back and really adding to the rotation. But like Yosemite right there says, we got to go on a run in these next few series. And this isn't something, they're not going to go win 20 in a row. I mean, it's nothing like that. But they got to get some key victories. They got to win when they're not supposed to win. They got to really pull out. A sweep would be nice, for goodness sake. Just something to show us that there is development. They're 8.5 games back. I'd like by the end of this series if they were 4 games back or 3 games back. That's what I would like to see. Even 5. I mean, there's plenty of time to come back, don't get me wrong, but we can't dig ourselves in a hole. We got to win these games, especially when the Mets have to go face the West Coast and the Brewers, right? I mean, that's nothing. What the Braves have to do is nothing compared to this schedule. We've already had our West Coast swing, right? We've already done it. The other good part about the Braves' upcoming schedule is they're knocking out a lot of their road games. So they're knocking out Arizona, they're knocking out Colorado, Washington, and of course the Cubs. They're knocking out a lot of those, so next time they'll be at home, which is of course good because who doesn't want to be at Truist Park? But that being said, I agree with you. I think they got to go on a run here. It's hard to say they have to, and the reason I say that, it'd be nice if they did, but it's hard to say that they have to because of what we saw last year, in the second half. I mean, but I don't believe there was ever a time where they were 8.5 games back last year. So it is a little bit different, knowing what the circumstances were last year to this year. But we'll see what happens. Don't count this team out. People did last year, and they made a grave mistake, so don't do it. By the way, guys, if you'll do me a favor, go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you can, of course. Hit the bell for notifications so that you know when we go live, when we're dropping a video, when we talk about certain things, and of course just when we're doing pretty much anything. So do that, put that out there, and I would appreciate it. Also, I got to pay the bills, so I'm going to do that real quick. Go get this book. I'm not sure if the link is in the description below, but I'll put it in there if it's not. How to Hit Spots. It's by Dan Lazzaroni. Go get this book. It's on Amazon. If you search How to Hit Spots, you'll find it. Great book for young pitchers. That's the key here. Young pitchers, travel ball coaches, parents that are just getting into baseball, whatever the case may be. If you got to teach a kid to pitch, if you want to teach him how to locate, this is the book for you. I promise. Forget that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's not what you need to do. Focus on location. That's what this book really hones in on. And it's a great book for young pitchers. Gets you in the right mindset. Teaches you fundamental concepts, and I recommend it completely. Again, How to Hit Spots by Dan Lazzaroni. I do appreciate the sponsorship, and I do appreciate his support as well. Again, How to Hit Spots. It's on Amazon, paperback, Kindle, whatever you need. It's great for young pitchers. No matter the age, you can learn something new by reading that book. It's a short read, but a good read, I promise. All right, now that being said, let's move on. Blake says Zach Gallen will be tough tonight. He's a rough pitcher. Yeah, I mean, or he's a raw pitcher. I apologize. Sure, it'll be tough, but you know what? It's a good matchup for a young Spencer Strider to have the first go-round. Yosemite says he would like 13 wins over this stretch. I think that's doable. I mean, you see in the right-hand side there, that's how many games each series are. You got 3 versus the Diamondbacks, 4 versus the Rockies in Colorado, 2 versus the Athletics. I think we got to win those 2. 4 versus the Pirates. You got to take 3 out of 4 from the Pirates. I mean, I just don't know. You have to. You can't waste those. The Nationals, that's a very winnable series. If you got something like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 in every series, you'd have something along the lines of, 5, 7, 8, 10. You'd have something like 12 if you did that, assuming that you win both games from the A's. So that being said, I think it's very doable to win 13, but I think you got to win the series. That's the key part there is you got to win the series, and I think you got to sweep the 2 games from the A's. If it's up to me, that's what I would hope to see happen. and that's what I would be planning for. Let's see. Courtney Conaway says, looks like I was right about Harris being called up. You were right. I'll give it to you. I remember. I was actually talking about this the other day at the game with somebody. I did not expect it. To tell you the truth, I didn't. And it's not because he doesn't deserve it. It's not because that he's not a great player. He's both of those things. He deserves it, and he's a great player. That being said, I'm just surprised. I think it says a lot about him. I think it says a lot about how hot he is right now. I was surprised that, for one, he jumped AAA entirely. He jumped Drew Waters in the order of, prospects, outfield prospects. So it just surprised me. I thought we had a couple more years away, but congrats to him on a job well done getting to the big leagues. Hopefully it'll be a job well done in the big leagues as well. I'm looking forward to watching his career. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do. And I'm glad that he got called up. He made a great catch the other day while I was there. I know you guys have seen it. Didn't even hit his glove. It hit his hand and then went into the glove. But yeah, great appearance by him. Great moments to see him in first big league hit. That kind of thing. Those are stuff that you remember. Those are stuff you see in a highlight reel 20 years from now. So hopefully that'll be the case. Michael Foster, I already answered this question, but I'll be glad to do it again. By the way, guys, since I'm going to say this, by the way, if you want me to answer your question, if you don't want to wait, first pitch is only an hour away. I'll be here as long as I can. But if you want your question answered now, super chats are the way to go. That's how I see them immediately. That's how I answer as fast as I can. Otherwise, you got to wait in line. Sorry, it's like the fast pass at Six Flags, I guess. Let me see. Do you think Dance is going to be back next year? I would really assume so. I can't say for sure, but I would assume so. That being said, again, Freddie left. No one is safe. I think Dansby being from here probably helps. But I think, again, if Dansby wants to be a Brave, he'll be a Brave. There are certainly other options at shortstop for sure. Just in the Braves minor league system, there's Braden Shoemake if you want to go that route. But there are some, of course, in other markets. I don't think there's any necessarily better than Dansby that we can, frankly, afford or want to pay. That being said, that's up to Dansby. How much does Dansby want to make? How much does he think he's worth? How much is leaving home worth? That kind of thing. All of those are variables that are going to have to be considered. His agent is another one. We all know that. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, I would assume so. It only makes sense. He's a serviceable bat, streaky but serviceable. And again, I think he's a pretty good defender. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think he mixes in well. I think he's one of those guys that has the potential to be a leader for a long time, and I'd like to see him re-signed. If he can get more consistent, it's bad news for other teams for sure. Bill Gates, what do you envision Michael Harris hitting in the lineup once he gets it going? With his speed, I'd like to see him batting leadoff or in the two-hole. I don't think he's taking leadoff, man. I just don't. I know a lot of people have asked that question about different players. Ozzie, Dansby, Eddie Rosario. Just whoever, is a speedy guy. Naturally, that's what you would assume. Especially if you're an older fan, naturally you would assume that a speedy guy would be leadoff. We have a speedy guy in leadoff. He just also happens to hit for power, Ronald Acuna Jr. I think that's his spot. I think he's claimed it. I think, he called dibs on it, and he's sticking with it until it just doesn't work anymore. But with that being said, Michael Harris, I think, could fit in the two-hole. I think Olsen is in that spot right now, but I think he would fit better in the middle of the lineup anyway. But, I think in the first couple of years, you may see him in the 8-hole. You may see Michael Harris in the 8-hole. Not to say it's going to always be that, but I think, the more we have to flip the lineup around, that kind of thing, maybe 2 years from now, you see him jump up a bit. But I think we got to find out what kind of player he is in the big leagues. I think you got to find out if he's a base hitter, if he's a power hitter, whatever the case may be. He's got the potential to be a great player in the big leagues. He already is a great player, but in the big leagues. That being said, I think we got to find out where he fits best. It's not just how good he hits, but also where he fits best in the lineup alongside everyone else. But great question. Yeah, Yosemite, that is a good point. You're kind of starting the game with a depleted pen. You are a bit, for sure. Freed pitching yesterday, I want to say he went through 6. That helps. You didn't have to use too many guys out of the pen. But even then, we have a depleted pen right now. There's no question about it. You look at what the bullpen is. It's down 3 primary faces of what we thought we were going to have this year. So, we'll just see. Hopefully he can get through 4 or 5 and we can move on. Maybe even more. But here's to hoping, right? Chad Davis comes in with some confidence. He says, we are going to win tonight. Chad, if we do, I appreciate it. It's all because of you, man. Richard Davis, there is more to Dansby than just his hitting. He is really it's really no different than Albies, but people just get down on him and not Albies. I think they should sign him to a $12-15 million 5 to 6 year contract. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any problem with that contract. I think that's fair. I think that's perfectly fair. I just wonder what Dansby's going to ask for. And if he asks for that, I say give it to him. I don't think there's any problem with that. We're just going to have to see how it plays out, because I'm just going to be honest with you, Richard. I spoke very, very confidently in saying that Freddie Freeman was going to return to the Braves. And boy, was I wrong. So I just am not confident really in anybody, saying anybody's going to be back anymore. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Hopefully that'll be the case. In terms of, nobody really getting down on Albies, for me, if I have an issue with Albies, I just wish he'd hit right-handed. That's all. I know he likes hitting left-handed against, obviously a left-handed pitcher, but or a right-handed pitcher rather. I just don't see. I think he's better right-handed. I think the stats say it too. But then again, for me, Albies, when he hits left-handed, it's either ambush or nothing. I don't feel like I just don't feel like he has as solid of an at-bat. Albies, I believe, has one of the lowest pitches seen rates in all of MLB, and I think it's mainly because of the time he spends on the left side. When he's hitting righty, I'm a lot more confident that he can square one up, and whether it be splitting a gap or hitting it over the fence. I think he has better at-bats right-handed. Now, that being said, I can't speak to what other people say about Dansby. I understand his streaky habits, and I think he does too. But when he's on, he's on. We're seeing that right now. He's having a great time at the plate, having a great time in the field as well. But I agree with you. There is more to Dansby than just his hitting. I think he is a leader. I think he clutches up. I think he can turn on anyone's fastball. So, to me, we're just going to have to see how it plays out. And I would love to say that, yeah, Dansby's going to be back. But after what happened with Freddie, I just can't do it with confidence, unfortunately. Yosemite, I'm gonna go full I'm gonna go full vegan if Spencer takes off. I'm just kidding. I can't commit to that. Props to Spencer though for making such a huge change in his diet. Yeah, congrats. Couldn't be me. I'm a carnivore, but congrats to Spencer. Hopefully it has an effect and continues to make him great. Courtney Conaway, it seems like every year Duvall hits like he's Babe Ruth for a month, and then his average is bad the rest of the year. When do you think his Babe Ruth month will be? Courtney, the average is never going to be 300 for Duvall. It's just never going to be. That being said, I'm all right with what his average is right now. 200, okay. But I would assume you'd have 10 or 12 homers to go with it. That's what Soler brings you. Right, I looked at his stats yesterday on the video board. 212 homers, right? I think he got another one yesterday. He got 2 more yesterday, so I think it's up to 13. So with that said, Duvall just hasn't had the homers to go with his semi-terrible average, right? So the RBIs, that's what was up last year. We're just not seeing that right now. And, part of it doesn't help that you haven't had a lot of guys on base as well. That of course affects RBIs, but at the end of the day, you're not seeing Duvall get any hits. You're not seeing anything. You're seeing a 200 average with no homers, with no power. And he wasn't even playing in yesterday's game. He sat, and I don't know that that's going to be the consistent what they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if it continues. I wouldn't be surprised if he saw time in Gwinnett. And it's not a knock on him, but we all remember, he spent time in Gwinnett, waited his turn, and came back up to the Braves, and that's when Duvall turned it up a notch. So maybe he needs some time in Gwinnett, figure things out, and come back up. I'm not saying he has to take as long as he did last time, but maybe a little while. I wouldn't be against that, and I wouldn't be mad about that. I would completely understand. I think he would completely understand. Right now we haven't really had anybody to take a better, approach than him. Or there hasn't been anyone with more upside. But right now, Michael Harris, there very well may be. I don't know that that's going to be what happens, but again, I wouldn't be upset about it. If you're asking me when I think his Babe Ruth month will be, I don't know. It's hard to say. What I hope his Babe Ruth month will be is October. That's what I would hope for. But, that's saying a lot. Richard Davis says, I don't think Dansby will price himself out. Oh, sorry. He said, I say Strider will be on a pitch limit. It should be 50 to 60, and he has pitched around 40 in relief. I don't know. I think you got to see how the game goes, Richard. Because, I don't think stamina is the issue. I don't think that's a problem. I mean, he's a starter in college. He was a starter in the minors. That's never really been the issue. The issue, I'd say, is what the Braves needed. I mean, they needed a reliever. They needed a guy like him, to fill the Matzik role. Or they had him, and then Matzik left, and then he really took up the Matzik role. But I don't know if he's going to be on a pitch limit. I think he might have what Leo called a max out inning. You got to feel for it. It's not so much, a number. It's, what's he look like? It's the eyeball test. It's not hard to tell. I mean, here's the thing. If you watch baseball long enough, you'll figure out when a pitcher needs to be taken out. It's not always a number. Sometimes it's whether or not he's locating. It's whether or not, he has a feel, that kind of thing. And that's a conversation that's had in the dugout or on the mound. That's something completely different. I don't know you're going to see 50 to 60. It may very well wind up around that range. But I would say you hope for 5 innings. You hope he covers 5 innings. And then if he does any more than that, great. It would help if the Braves got out to a 4-run lead in the first 3 or 4 innings. That would be nice. And I think that would help his case in staying on the mound. But we'll see how it goes. We'll take it in stride. That's all we can really do. Garrett Clemens, we are 8.5 games back. We need to start winning more series. Yeah, here you go. These are the series we got a chance to win, Garrett. Starting tonight, Diamondbacks, Rockies, A's, Pirates, Nationals, and Cubs. All series in this list are very, very winnable. And that's the key here. You got to win these series. I don't care if you go on a 20-game streak. That's not going to happen. But if you can go on a, 16-4 run, that would be awesome in getting some of those games back. You say we're 8.5 games back. Let's get it to 4. That's what I'd like to see in this next few times. Understand, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. The whole baseball season, it is a marathon, not a sprint. That being said, you don't want to lose it in May. You don't want to get so far out that you can't get back. And that's what the Braves are in danger of doing if they don't capitalize in these next few series. That being said, I think it's going to be fun to watch over these next few weeks. I think the Braves are about to turn it up a notch, especially against lesser talent than what they've had prior. Chad Davis says, share this to Facebook. Yeah, share this to Facebook, guys. Share it to Facebook. I tried to do it, but I didn't have time. I was trying to get in here. But yeah, if you guys could share it, I would appreciate it. Share it to Facebook, share it to Twitter, share it to Reddit if you want to. I don't care where you share it. Just share it. Share it. I don't care if you send it in a text message to somebody. Somebody that likes to talk about Braves baseball, send this to them. Do it. I would appreciate it. And since you're giving me a free plug there, Chad, go follow me on social media if I can find the graphic. Yeah, right here. Go follow me on social media. That's the tag down below. The links to that are in my description. I would appreciate it, guys. Absolutely. At bubblegum_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. I try to post some stuff there. If you just want to follow my life, Instagram is good for that. I do a lot of interviews and that kind of thing. Keep you updated a bit. But if you just want to talk baseball, Twitter's the place to go. So do that. Go follow it, and I'll, if you reach out to me, I'll do my best to reach back out to you. But yeah, I would appreciate that for sure. Thanks for that, Chad. I do appreciate it. Blake dropped the link for How to Hit Spots in the chat as well. Thank you, Blake. Again, How to Hit Spots, Dan Lazzaroni. Great book for young pitchers. Do not do not do not just skip past this. Go check this out. It's affordable. It is a short read. For me, a guy that doesn't really like to read, this is a great book. Look how thin that is. Great book. Great for young pitchers, great for young coaches, great for parents that are just getting into baseball that want to teach their kids how to locate, how to pitch. This is the way to start. This is a great fundamental book, and I suggest you go get it. Amazon, Kindle, whatever you need to do. It's out there. The link is right there. Blake put it in the description, or put it in the chat. I apologize. Blake Newsom put it in the chat, so do that. And again, How to Hit Spots, Dan Lazzaroni. You can probably find it on Google as well. I do appreciate that, guys. Richard Davis, would you rather have the Braves be like the team in the 90s, go all out in the regular season and fault it in the playoffs, or rather see them drag it out all season and get hot in September? Well, if last year tells us anything, I'd like to see the latter. The 90s was a great run, right? Leo, I know I keep talking about Leo, but there's reason for it. Yeah, I asked Leo, the 14 straight. Leo prides himself on the 14 straight. He does, when he signs autographs, he does not sign it 95 World Series champs. He will if you ask him. But if he's got the chance, he signs it Leo Mazzoni 14 straight. That's what he prides himself on, because that's almost 15 years of consistency, right? That is something that I think is important. I think the current Braves have some of that. I mean, they got, 4 straight division titles right now? That's great, right? And it's getting to the dance as many years as possible. Last year was special. There's no mistake about it. It was a World Series. But I don't think the Braves are done. And to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of similarities in what the 90s Braves did and what the 2020 Braves are doing right now. I think there's a lot of consistency. How easy could the Braves have gotten to the World Series in 2020? How easy could the Braves have won the World Series in 96, 91, 92, maybe even 99, right? There's a lot of that. And it's all about getting to the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, baseball's different. It's just different. To be honest with you, I went to the first game that I've been to all year long yesterday. I haven't been able to get to the stadium. I went a ton last year in the postseason, okay, in September, October. It's different, okay? I can't explain it to you. You just need to go. It's different. It's a different feel. It's more, there's more excitement, obviously. It's just, you got to try it out, and you'll understand. Now, that being said, would I rather be like the Braves team in the 90s and go out all regular season, or fault it in the playoffs, or the opposite? Personally, as a fan, I'd like to get hot in September, so that's why I'm really okay with it. But yeah, if it means winning the World Series, then I think that's an obvious pick. But I would prefer to see some consistency in the regular season as well. That being said, we'll see what happens this year. I'm looking up your answer to your question there, Drama. What a great name. Are you the Drama? I thought so. Let me see. So, Rosario is expected to miss 2 or 3 months after his laser eye procedure. I haven't seen a return date, so if he's missing 2 or 3 months, I assume late July, early August. That's completely me assuming, but that's how much he was told he was going to miss was 2 to 3 months. So I would assume late July, early August, which happens to be right around my birthday. Yeah, Chad Davis, How to Hit Spots is $7 on Kindle, which means it's affordable. Go get it. Go buy it. And you know what? Tell him I sent you. Isaac, when do you think Drew Waters should be called up? Also, why is Heredia still on the big league roster? See, Isaac, here's the thing. I'm going to answer your second question first. Heredia and I would say Orlando Arcia, Alex Dickerson at the beginning of the year, whatever the case may be, any of the guys on the bench, they are not going to get the attention that, frankly, they got last year. And it's because of the DH, right? They're not going to get as many chances to show you what they're worth. And it's unfortunate. It's why I was, I'm not necessarily against the DH, but I'm against what it does to these type of players, guys that don't get to play every day. Position players that don't play every day. They don't get to take the field. And, that causes people to not be consistent. It causes people to, lose touch, at the plate, all that. And it's unfortunate for those guys. It really is. That's why, they're still in the big league roster because they provide value. Heredia specifically provides a lot of value on the bench by sitting there. The dude's got the pink swords. He gets everybody amped up. And I think he's probably a lot of fun to be around. That doesn't make him worthy of taking a spot on the roster. I get that. But at the same time, he is a big part of what Garrett Clemens down there says. He's a big part of the culture. And, that means something. I'm not saying it means everything, but it does mean something. Now, that being said, he also is not given the opportunity to succeed or fail a lot. It just doesn't happen. Arcia, one of the few times he was given the opportunity, hit a walk-off homer. So you're just not going to see a lot of these guys, unfortunately. Not like you did last year, right? Charlie Culberson would have never gotten, any at-bats under the current situation. Pablo Sandoval would not have hit as many walk-off homers or homers in general as he did last year this season, right? Frankly, it's American League Baseball. It is what it is. Again, I don't have a big problem with the DH. In fact, I think it works for the Braves better, especially once everyone's healthy. You can put Ozuna at DH and never have him in the outfield. I think that works better for the Braves, specifically. But it puts a damper on these players. It just does, unfortunately. And that'll be the case, until it changes again. Drama says, re-sign Soler if we get into the playoffs. I will say this. How do I put this? Driving to the game yesterday, we knew we were playing the Marlins. It was me, my dad, my brother. And we all kind of said, we wouldn't really mind it if Soler got hold of one, right? Sure enough, top of the first inning, or top of the second, whenever it was, early in the game, smokes one, and we all knew it was gone, and we're like, well, there it is. There's the one, right? And then the Braves score 6, which is awesome. And we sort of looked at each other, we're like, we wouldn't really mind it if he hit another one. And he did, right? So he's still a fan favorite. He still gets a big ovation every time he comes up to the plate, because, not everybody gets to go to every game. And, I think, a lot of people want to show their gratitude to what he did in the World Series, including myself. In terms of re-signing Soler, look, we got Duvall back last year. Just saying, they're same teams. We'll see. I don't know if we're really going to have a spot for him, but crazier things have happened, so we will see. Garrett says, oh, yeah, thank you. A lot of people are talking about Heredia. They're coming to the defense of Guillermo Heredia. I like it. I like it a lot. This is a good question. Ronnie Redmond. I wonder who his son is. Could AA be showcasing Michael Harris II for a trade? Rosario will be back soon with eyesight. I'll be honest with you, I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't know that there's anything to trade for on the team. And I know that sounds crazy because you're probably thinking of 2 or 3 things. I don't see an open spot. Maybe the pen, but especially in the second half, I don't know if there's anything you want to trade right now that, we're not going to get back in the second half, right? Bullpen, Kirby Yates, Mike Soroka's coming back. You can rotate the pitching staff as needed. Kirby Yates, Mike Soroka, Luke Jackson is out for the year, but Tyler Matzik will be back soon. And in terms of, the offensive side of things, Eddie Rosario is coming back. I don't see a hole in the lineup. If you leave Michael Harris there, and take Duvall down, I think you compete there. I don't know if you trade. That being said, I think he's a guy that we've wanted to see so long. I think you'd be more likely to see Drew Waters get traded at this point. Let me see. Sorry, guys. It jumped on me. Yosemite says right-handed Ozzy is legendary. I agree. Drama says Olsen power production is down too, but he does get doubles. I'm still a little sus on his defense so far. Yeah, but, the dude's a gold glover, right? At the end of the day, he is a gold glover. That is something that, you you can't take away from him, but he's not perfect. I would like to see a little bit more consistency in his defense for sure, but I don't know. For me and Olsen, right? I know a lot of people are jumping on Olsen. I feel bad for the guy because look who he's replacing, right? He's replacing a guy who's been here for over a decade. I just don't think it's fair to really, judge him off that. Now, that being said, it's natural to do that. It's not something that you'd be wrong for doing, but it is unfortunate for him because he comes from the A's, who are just happy he's there, and he comes to Atlanta where all these expectations to be Freddie Freeman are, and I just don't think it's fair. Now, that being said, in terms of his defense, give him time. In terms of his hitting, give him time. Let's judge him in 3 or 4 years. That's when we can look at this deal and losing Freddie Freeman and that's when I think you can look at it fairly. And really, you'll really only be able to tell in 10 years. That's when I think you'll be able to really tell. When both of these deals expire, Freddie Freeman's current deal and Matt Olson's deal, that's when I think you really know where the team, who won the trade, right? And I don't know that either one did. But in terms of his power production, not every hit needs to be a homer. Doubles work too. A couple of back-to-back doubles won the game yesterday. So it just is what it is. Traction Jackson. I love that name, dude. I love that name. Most of Duvall's, I assume, home runs are cheapies. He just looks bad at the plate, too many strikeouts. Now, that I agree with. I told somebody yesterday, if I was pitching to Duvall, I would throw 3 off-speed pitches in the dirt to start the at-bat because he swings over them, right? It just is what it is. That being said, he is a threat in the lineup. He's something you have to consider. But he does look bad at the plate right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he got, some time in Gwinnett. I haven't seen the lineup for today, but if it doesn't have him in it, then that says something. But I haven't seen it yet. Before we go any further, guys, I have something else I need to promote, if you don't mind. The guy that we were just talking about, Matt Olson, the guy that's going to be with the Braves for the next 8 years. We always pull up this timetable, and I haven't updated it, so don't judge it. But we always pull up this timetable. Matt Olson is going to be with us until 2030. He's going to be with us a while. He will be doing an autograph signing on June 25th. That is a Saturday from 11:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. Again, Matt Olson, the first baseman of now and the future. That will be at Galleria Parkway, Atlanta, Georgia, next to Dale Murphy's restaurant, next to Murph's. So it will be there Saturday, June 25th. I will have this on the community page. I'll put it there right after the show. Go check it out. I'll have pricing and everything. But yeah, you can buy tickets in advance. You can just send an item if you can't make it, whatever the case may be. This is through BP Sports, which is a great friend of mine. Bob Presley over there does great work. By the way, if you know what? I'm going to give Bob a free plug. Go to the Cobb Antique Mall, BP Sports, back right corner. Go check it out. You'll thank me later. Just go check it out. But yeah, Matt Olson, June 25th, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pricing, I'll give you a quick rundown. Flats up to $16.20 and baseballs are $105. Jerseys, bats, equipment, $135. Inscriptions, $39. Honestly, guys, not bad pricing for a guy that's going to be on your team for the next 8 years. Not a bad deal at all. Now, that being said, I will probably be there. I most definitely will be there. Again, Matt Olson, and that is the 25th, so don't miss it. All right, so let's talk about Richard Davis. Says, only player I trade Harris for is Reynolds in Pittsburgh, but he is up because Demerit stopped hitting. The team needs a spark. Demerit was playing out of his mind. I never really expected that to last. I like Travis Demerit. I'm glad he got, the chance to come up to the big leagues and the chance to do what he did. But it was just a lot to ask for him to hit like that all year or for, the entirety of his career. But, yeah, I think Harris is up because we need a spark. I think you're completely head on right there. I think he's definitely the spark, and nothing wrong with that. We'll see how long it lasts. this may be a short stint in the major leagues. We don't know. Jameson says, I liked those back-to-back homers by Ozuna and Riley yesterday. I liked them too. I was in a ballpark for it. That first homer Ozuna hit was, it looked like it didn't get that high off the ground. It was just straight there. But it was a lot of fun to watch for sure. Garrett Clemens says what I've been thinking. The bats have looked a lot better. I agree. I think, frankly, Acuna coming off the bench the other night and hitting the double, right? The go-ahead, I think, winning run double. That was big. That was a momentum shifter. I think Acuna, anytime Acuna's in the lineup, it helps. William Contreras' bat has been great. Ozuna's 2 homers yesterday. Riley homered yesterday. That kind of thing, it's contagious, right? I think that's what you have to really realize. Hitting like that is contagious, and I think it's a major factor in what the Braves have been able to do. Hopefully they'll be able to do it, over the next couple of weeks. We've talked about those upcoming series. That's what we need to see for the next 6 series, and hopefully that will be the case. But, we'll see. We will see. Let me see. Yeah, Yosemite brings up a good point. He said, realistically, being 3 or 4 games out by mid-June is fine. I agree with you. That's the kind of jump we need, though, because you don't want to be 8.5 games back in July, right? Like, that would be really unfortunate. You kind of want to get it done now and at least get into some kind of competitive, run, and I think that's what we need to see over these next 6 series. Brandon Edwards says, I think Strider has closer potential. I agree with you, but I also think we want to test him as a starter first. I think Strider can do anything you want him to do. I don't know how long he's going to be a starter. I don't know what his role is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be long relief. Whatever it is, I think he's going to succeed at. And whatever he finds himself, whatever role fits best for him is what he's going to do. I think we're in a stage with him where we're sort of exploring what he is capable of at the big league level, and I think it'll be fun to watch. Guys, before we go any further, do me a favor. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you know when we go live and when everything is going on here at On Deck. And, of course, we do interviews. We do live broadcasts like this where I talk to you head on. And, of course, we do a lot of just content, Braves content. There's going to be a lot more of that coming up, so make sure you do subscribe. A lot of fun stuff coming up that I can't quite tell you about, but it is coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. And, of course, hit the bell for notifications so that you know when it drops. Also, follow me on social media, Tyler Redmond. I'm anywhere and everywhere, but you can follow me at that tag on the screen. Of course, the links are also in the description below. All right, let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Wilmer Chinchilla. Long time no see. The Mets have had the 10th easiest schedule so far, while the Braves have had the 7th toughest. Agreed. And I think that's what a lot of people are overlooking right now. That's what I kind of try to point out without saying it. It's funny you bring that up. The Mets are going to have to go face off against these guys, who the Braves have been facing off with. These are the guys that are tough. So that's why I'm saying the Braves got to capitalize now. That's why this is a marathon, not a sprint. Right? If we went based off what the Mets have faced and based off what the Braves have faced, it wouldn't be fair at all. So I think that's why they got to jump. That's why they got to be successful now, right? They got to win these games. The games that are behind us, but if we can get 4 or 5 of those games back, we're dangerous. He also says, I don't know, the rest of the season the Braves will have the 5th easiest, while the Mets will be at the 10th easiest spot. Yeah, so we expect an uptick, right? Now, on paper, that's what it says. We don't know for sure, but on paper, that's what it says. You expect a bit of an uptick. Hopefully, that'll be the case. Richard Davis says Julio Teheran is pitching great in Independent League, a 1.60 ERA, around 33 innings. Just saying, you never know. You never know. Maybe. I haven't really given much thought to it. I mean, we all thought Yasiel Puig was going to come play, and I think he's in the Dominican League somewhere. So you never know with these guys. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, maybe he's found his success in the Independent League. Maybe, who knows. But it'll be interesting. Jameson Taylor wants to know a score prediction. I don't do well with score predictions. I don't think they're going to score playing Diamondbacks. I don't think they're going to score against Strider. I'm going to just go out on a wing and say that. I don't think they score against Strider. I think it kind of depends on how far Strider goes, whether it's 4 innings or 5, if the Diamondbacks even score. That being said, Zach Gallen's on the mound for them, so it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go 3-1 Braves, but, who knows. Bill Gates says Dansby has been a different hitter since he switched to the axe handle bat, and William has been crushing it since he changed his stance to a more upright position. Braves are going to go on a roll. That's the thing, guys. That's why, the Mets every year, not every year, but a lot of years, every year seems that, they do great in the beginning, and then teams adjust. The Braves are adjusting. The Braves offense is adjusting. And I think that's what you're pointing out here. They make those small adjustments. And hopefully that'll be the case. Hopefully Adam Duvall can make some kind of adjustment like that. I think, frankly, Marcelo Zuna's made that adjustment, right? You didn't even mention him. It's not it's not an axe handle bat. It's not a different stance or anything. But I think he did flatten out his swing. I think that he did do. So, not perfect, but I think, then he hit 2 home runs yesterday. So, Richard Davis, as long as the Braves don't fall 10 games back by the All-Star game, they'll be fine. They will hopefully get Soroka and Yates back and then pitch good. The Braves are showing signs of getting hot now. Completely agree with you. Hopefully it will be the case. But, I am no fortune teller. Kelton Chavis. I hope I get your name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But Kelton, subscribe. Kelton says, yeah, Braves have really worked on William and Dansby's swing lately. William has great power on the backside. Yeah, William, here's the thing, right? William's bat was never the problem, right? Last year he got sent down, and we had all these different catchers up and down, right? The bat was never the issue. It was behind the plate. I don't need him to be perfect behind the plate. I don't need him to be Pudge back there. I just need him to be serviceable, right? Just be a decent catcher. Catching comes first, hitting comes later, right? That's the difference, right? That you saw the pitching staff take a big uptick last year when d'Arnaud came back. d'Arnaud, I think, caught every game in the postseason, maybe even every game in the series against the Phillies to end the season, right? To clinch the division, rather. So, and I think it affects, it directly affects the pitching staff. He's got to be able to call a good game. I think the fact that he's now squatting on both legs and not on one knee, I think that's helped out a lot. I think, he's been a better catcher as well, and I don't want to overlook that. His bat's been phenomenal. We all know about that, but the improvement behind the plate is why he's still in the big league level right now. And, of course, Manny Peña's hurt. But, yeah, I completely. Yosemite, you don't trade Harris. If anything, you trade Rosario or Duvall. The thing about it, Duvall's not worth anything right now in the eyes of big league clubs. He's just not. You can take a chance on the guy, but you're not going to get anything back. Rosario, he's coming off a laser eye surgery, which could be up, could be down. We never know. Rosario's worth was at the end of the year last year. That's when Rosario had worth, but it wasn't trade value. I don't think they're trading either one of these guys. Maybe Duvall, not Rosario, because, frankly, Rosario came back to Atlanta, wanted to be in Atlanta. You got him on an affordable price. Got both these guys on an affordable price. I just don't see it, personally. But crazier things have happened. Jameson says, I'm glad Harris got his first run yesterday against the Marlins. Also a great catch as well. Kelton, Ozzie has great power for the right-handed side of the plate. He does. And I think he's got, again, better at bats. Hey, guys, do me a favor. I know I said like the video, but we're going to wrap it up here in about 20 minutes to get you ready for first pitch. So if you want your question answered, the best advice I can give you is super chat, super chat, super chat. That's the only way I can guarantee I answer your question. I also try to go a little bit more in depth when you do that, just so, you get your money's worth, right? But, yeah, do that. It helps me out as well. All money given goes to On Deck and the equipment, the travel, whatever the case may be. By the way, guys, before I go any further, sorry, I know I'm interrupting. The series versus the Nationals. I will be in D.C. I will be at one of those games, maybe two. I will be there. I don't know what kind of content we're going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to be there. So if you're there, come say hello. But, yeah, I will be there, and I'm looking forward to wearing my Braves gear proud in DC. I'm sure I'll get plenty of high fives and good jobs at the Nationals Park. But yeah, really looking forward to that. Family vacation in DC. We're gonna see a baseball game while we're out. But yeah, let me see. Yosemite says he works at the racetrack building. I'll try and come by and bring some friends. Is that the Dodgers series? I think you must be talking to somebody else. Yosemite, if you're trying to contact me, just hit me up on social media, okay? I'll be glad to talk to you there. I try not to let everybody know my location. Braves just got to take it one game at a time. That's from Yasuki Knight. Good to hear from Yasuki. I know I got to say your name wrong. I try. I try so hard, but I'm not good at it. Guys, if you want your name said right, just give me a pronunciation guide. I'm gonna go with it's Yasuki. That's what I've been going with forever. But yeah, they got to take it one game at a time. But there's nothing wrong with looking ahead and seeing what you got. I think we're gonna see a big uptick for sure. Bill Gates says 2030 for Olsen. Lord. Hopefully the Lord comes back by then, or else we'll all die from shame for letting Freddie go for this guy. No, I don't think so. I think Olsen's going to have a great career with the Braves. I really do. Richard Davis. Tehran could be a Jesse Chavez used type pitcher. The Braves do have two independent league pitchers in Tyler and Stevens. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. I like the idea of it, to tell you the truth. Tehran was looked at, I think, in 2020. We were all talking about, man, we wish we had Julio Tehran. But, we'll see. I think if he continues to be successful, he'll gain the eyes of big league clubs. But until then, he's got to be consistent for a while. But we'll see. Bat flip bombs. Do you hit dingers? I assume you hit dingers. You should do a watch party during a couple of games this season. See, I've thought about that bat flip. I've really thought about it. The thing about it, the thing about doing a watch party is I can't show the game, right? And I think a lot of people want my thoughts, the whole day or the whole game. I can't show the game, so the timing's never really there. I've thought about it a lot. To tell you, I'll do a little inside baseball for a second. To tell you the truth, we're moving here pretty soon. Next couple of months, hopefully, I am moving to a bigger place, that kind of thing. At that point, I'll be able to adjust a little bit, maybe, have a better setup. But for right now, this is what we got. I love what I got right now, but it's hard for me to watch TV and do this. That being said, it could change. But yeah, I can't show MLB highlights. I can't show MLB. I can't show MLB really anything. Footage, live stream. I can't do that. I can't broadcast the game. I have the ability to do it, but I'll get sued. I don't want to do that. I'll get taken down. I don't feel like dealing with that. But I've thought about it. We may be able to do something like that going forward, especially if the Braves make a postseason, that kind of thing. I wouldn't mind doing it, but that'll be a later date for sure. But yeah, great idea. If you guys want it, we're going to try to do whatever we can to make it happen. I would love to do it. I always like talking baseball during baseball for sure. But yeah, I would love to do it. Richard Davis says, we didn't let Freeman go. He left. He got greedy. Everybody has their opinion on it. I don't know. How do I put this? I can't really speak on it freely. I want to, but I can't. All right. I've talked to a few people that are very close to the Braves, that still hold a relationship with the Braves. 3 or 4 people, right? I've gotten conflicting thoughts from them, and they're closer than I am. They're closer than you are. I mean, there are folks that have been with the Braves for a long time. There are folks that are currently working with the Braves now. I can't tell you what they said, but what I can tell you is there's conflicting messages from them. So, to me, there's no real right answer about the Freeman saga. I think we're going to have to wait 20 years and see a documentary on it or something, to really get a clear picture of what it actually was. But to me right now, guys, I really think it was his agent, if I'm honest. But I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's just my assumption. Yeah, Blake, I'll see you in DC for sure. Yosemite says that the Murph signing. Yeah. Bring some friends from racetrack for sure. Bring some friends. Let me scroll back up, see what you said. Is that the Dodgers series? June 25th? Let's see. I got the graphic. Why not use it? June 25th. Oh, no. This is after that. Yeah, it very well may be the Dodgers series. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead a bit. Let me see. Yeah, that is the Dodgers series. Yep, so they are playing the Dodgers. Again, yeah, come by, bring your friends. I'll be there at least for a little while. I don't know how long I'll be there, but yeah, I will be there for sure. Yeah, so looking forward to see you there, Yosemite. Looking forward to seeing you. He says, but Murph's is the spot. Whenever Dale is there, he'll talk to you. He's a great guy. Yeah, I've been in there 2 or 3 times. I like going there. They got good food. Dale's a very nice guy, like you said. I got him to sign a bat a few years ago right outside of there. Yeah, Murph's is a great spot, for sure. Any Braves fan ought to take a day trip and go to Murph's, or at least before the game or something. Maker TSF, it would be interesting for the Braves to pick up Dallas Keuchel, but I doubt we would pick him up. I don't think so. I said something the other day. Somebody sent it to me. You know, I knew he was kind of on the rocks, in a rocky spot rather. But for me, Dallas Keuchel, I don't know. You can't pay him anything high priced. I mean, give him a nice lunch, $1 million lunch, and then see what happens, I guess. But even then, I just don't know if that's where the Braves really want to go. I could be wrong. But we'll see. Cameron Clary, do you think Michael Harris is a future everyday starter? And what happened to Drew Waters? I thought he was the next big thing. Yeah, I think Michael Harris ideally is an everyday starter in the future, maybe even now, but I don't know for sure. I mean, you can never say for sure. And again, this might not be his last, uptick. This might not be the last time he was in the minors, right? He may go back down. That's not a knock on him. He's young. He came straight from AA, skipped AAA, and came to the big leagues. But, he may get sent back down. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on with Drew Waters. He is supposed to be the next big thing. He is the next big prospect. But I thought he'd be called up by last year. During last year, I figured last year would be the time he got called up. To be fair, especially when Acuna went down. That was the big, all right, are they going to bring up Waters now? I mean, we don't have really any other option. I mean, he's not having a terrible year. He's hitting .307. He's got 3 homers and 75 at-bats, so he's not having a bad year. I don't know what the disconnect there is. Maybe they want to trade one of them. I don't know, but it's interesting is all I can really say. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. Yasuki Knight says, can't wait to see the pitching rotation at full power. Max and Mike will be awesome. I agree with you. I think if Mike Soroka was able to come back and really be what Mike Soroka was, it would be very interesting, especially with, him and Max. Now, I did some research on my own, just sort of throwaway research to tell you the truth, but there isn't really an athlete that has come back from, not a pitcher anyway, that has come back from an Achilles tendon tear injury. There's not a lot of them anyway. The only athlete I could find that came back successfully, was Dominique Wilkins. Any notable athlete that came back and still played and had a great career. So it would be interesting if he came back. I mean, there's no indication to see why he couldn't. But I think ultimately it would be interesting, but I think Soroka coming back is going to be a big deal. I think MLB needs to make that a big deal, and I know the Braves will, but good to see him still around the clubhouse a bit. They keep showing TikTok videos. He's still going there every day, that kind of thing. He's such a nice guy. You can't wish him anything but the best. I'm looking forward to seeing him coming back, though, for sure. Okay, Richard Davis maybe shines some light on Drew Waters. Thank you. Richard Davis says he's hitting good in Gwinnett, which I just read off his stats. Yeah, he was hurt a little. Maybe that's the reason he didn't come up. If Harris does good next year, the outfield could be Harris, Waters, and Acuna. Yeah, but you got Rosario lined up for 2 years. I mean, it could be, but Yeah, you're kind of stuck with Rosario too. Let me see. Bill Gates. Bill Gates says, "Have you ever been slapped in fantasy football like Jock Peterson?" You know, I was hoping I'd get through the whole stream without having to talk about this, but you know what? I'm a 2-time fantasy football champ, to tell you the truth. Me and my group of friends, they can't touch me. That being said, no, I haven't. I couldn't believe reading the headline, to tell you the truth. I think it's insanity. I don't know what's going on with Tommy Pham right now, but he's got to get his stuff together. I mean, is he suspended? Is there any official suspension for this? I mean, there's got to be, right? I don't know what's going on. I applaud Jock Peterson for handling it the way he did. I think he did it, in a great ways. The more stuff that comes out about it, the goofier it becomes. Like the gift that I don't know why it was taken so seriously. I don't understand it. Jock's got a way of getting on your nerves, but I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. I wouldn't join that football league for sure. But as Ronnie Redmond so eloquently says, keep my name at your mouth. I'm just kidding. Richard Davis says Waters will be a Chipper Jones type player. Switch hitter, has power and speed. I really, Bill, Richard, the thing about it, I don't really love adding a name on somebody. A lot of people compared Austin Riley to Chipper. They compared him to Troy Gloss. I saw somebody say that Michael Harris reminds him of Jay Hay. When Jay Hay came up, everybody compared him to Hank Aaron, that kind of thing. It just, let them be their own player. I get what you're saying. He's that type of player, but Chipper Jones made a name for himself, right? Let's let Drew Waters make his own. Same with Michael Harris. Same for any of these young guys. And I know that there's comparisons that can be made. I get that, but I really think it's important to let them make their own. And I think Waters has got the potential to be what Chipper Jones was to the Braves. I think he wants to be that type of player, but we'll have to see what he's like when he comes up. It'll be super exciting. All right, so Pham got 3 games. Good. There is some sanity in Major League Baseball. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think Tommy Pham has got his head in the wrong places right now, but hopefully he'll figure it out, I guess. That being said, guys, if you got any last thing, get it in. Get it in. I'm going to do a couple more promos, and then I'm going to get out of here. So get your questions in. I'll come back to you, and I'll get it in. I'll get as many of them as I can. But before I go, I'm going to go back through this. Again, guys, June 25th, the Dodger Series, June 25th. Do not miss this. You can buy your tickets in advance if you want to. BP Sports and Murphs are putting this on. Galleria Parkway. Matt Olson will be signing autographs. Guess what, guys? You get an autograph, you get a picture, all that stuff. For an autograph on a baseball, $105. This is an autograph that's only going to go up, folks. Jerseys, bats, equipment, $135. Inscriptions, $39. It's Saturday, June 25th, 11:30 to 12:30. It's the only one of the year, guys. You don't want to miss it. I'll be there. If you know me, say hello. Philip Powell, who's always in the chat, he came up to me at the last signing I was at. I always enjoy talking to you. Love meeting you. And I look forward to it every time I go. So make sure you come see me. Make sure you come see Matt Olson. Again, BP Sports. You can find him on the internet somewhere, I'm sure. I'll have the links in the community page later. But Matt Olson will be signing autographs. This is next to Dale Murphy's restaurant in Atlanta. By the way, if you'll do me a favor and tell them I sent you, it makes me look good. So do that. Make sure they know I sent you there. Again, Matt Olson autograph signing next to Murph's, June 25th, right during the Dodger Series. A great time to go. And I think Dale Murphy may even make an appearance as well. So he'll be a good guy to talk to as well. Last thing, before you go check this out. The link is in the chat. Blake dropped it earlier. How to Hit Spots by Dan Lazzaroni. Great for young pitchers, great for young coaches as well. This is a great read. It has diagrams. It has all different things where you can really get an idea of how to locate, how to get in the right mindset as a pitcher. I think it's a great book. I've read it. It's a great book. It has great information for you to become a successful young pitcher and maybe learn the fundamentals and development, right? Not just be good right now, but be good later on as well. Again, It's like 45 pages. It's very thin, but it's a great read. It's affordable. I suggest you go get it. Dan Lazzaroni, Amazon. It's on Kindle, paperback. I think it's like $9. It's worth it, I promise. Go check it out. Again, How to Hit Spots by Dan Lazzaroni. I suggest it. The link's right there at the bottom. Go check that out. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get the last questions, and then let's get out of here and go watch some Spencer Strider pitch baseball, shall we? Yosemite says, exactly, Tyler, people compare Jason Hayward to Henry Aaron. Let's let these guys be their own selves. If you just make the big leagues, you're a great player. Just mesh with the clubhouse. I agree. Completely agree. Jameson says, got home right now, so definitely started to see how the Braves are finally getting everything together. They seem to be. Bill Gates says, Pham was almost killed he was almost killed, and he said his biggest regret that he didn't okay. Oh, I can't read that. Get out of here. I got to delete that. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see Spencer Strider tonight too, Jameson. I really am. Ben Brando, I can't say his name, but I'm gonna have to check him out. Yeah, I've heard of him, but yeah, I'll have to check him out. Yeah, it seems like the Braves are turning it around. Let's go watch them. I'm gonna head out on that note, and hopefully we have a great time tonight watching Spencer Strider pitch. And if there's anything else that I haven't answered, I'll be glad to respond on social media if you got a question for me. If you want to talk to me during the game, I'll be watching all night tonight. Hit me up on these links, and of course you can follow me there. Really, anytime you hit me up, I try to respond as quickly as I can. Not always, but I do try. Anytime there's a game going on, I'm pretty much watching it. And I don't get to do these live streams a ton during the season, but of course you can subscribe. You can hit the bell for notifications so that you know when we do them and when we're on the air. So make sure you do that, and of course hit me up on social media as well. That being said, guys, I really do appreciate it. I'll see you later right here at On Deck.